Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of
Where in the world?
And where are we going today, Benjamin?
Berlin.
Berlin, Germany. That's right. Where is it? Berlin is the capital and the largest city of Germany. There's 3.7 million inhabitants, and it's surrounded by the state of Brandenburg. Ben, what do you have there in your hands? The Brandenburg Gate, made out of Lego. It is in the northeastern part of Germany. So here is Berlin on the map. This is the entirety of Germany. And what's this, Benjamin?
This is the Berlin Bear.
That's right. And the Berlin Bear is on their flag. It's this black bear, and you'll see it all over Germany, really, but it's especially from Berlin. So some of the history of Berlin: it was originally settled in the 1100s, became the site of the royal residence in 1470. In 1871 is the capital of the newly unified Germany, and Albert Einstein won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921 here before emigrating to the United States. What else do you have there, Benjamin? Albert Einstein.
3.1415926.5 to be exact.
That's right. And in 1933 to 1945, it was the site of the rise of the Nazi Party and home for Adolf Hitler. So in World War II, it was the most heavily bombed city in history. So following Hitler's rise to power, it actually became the center of the Nazi regime, and it was the final city to fall after Hitler's suicide. The Jewish community in Berlin was cut in more than half following the war. Many of them had been shipped to concentration camps before the war even began. But following the war, Berlin was split into how many sectors?
4.
And they're called what?
Formed East and West Berlin.
That's right. They formed East and West Berlin. So this is some of the pictures of the city after the war. And so most of the city got completely rebuilt following World War II because it had been so heavily bombed during that war. And this picture right here is a picture of the USSR going into Berlin and then raising the flag once they took the city over. So the Berlin Wall. So this was constructed by the USSR to split East and West Berlin so the East Berliners wouldn't defect to the West during the Cold War. And so they literally built a wall around a portion of the city. And so it went all the way around the outskirts and through the entire center of the city. And it was a huge, huge wall. So this is a picture of me next to a section of the Berlin Wall.
You've been to Berlin before?
Well, I've been to Germany. This is in parts of Germany. And so the wall kind of got split up all over Germany after it fell as a part of the reminder of the Cold War. And so this one's actually in Nuremberg. And so this picture here is of Checkpoint Charlie. And so this is an image of an East Berliner trying to escape to West Berlin. And so they had no man's land and no man could go in there. And the wall was obviously quite tall, as you can see. So it was very difficult to get over. And so it was very much a symbol of the split between communism and capitalism. And then once the Cold War ended, they literally tore down most of the wall. And the people went out and they broke it down. Some sections were preserved, and then they were put all over Germany. So modern day Berlin is very much shaped by its history of the 20th century because so much of it got destroyed that they had to rebuild almost the entire city. So some of it they focused on still the older styling, and then a lot of the buildings are very modern. So this is the actual Brandenburg Gate, and then this is the Lego version. Ooh. Not quite as pretty, definitely not as big, but still pretty cool because we like Lego, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. This is a picture of the Reichstag. Which is like the German parliament, and they also have lots of museums. And very close to Berlin is, and I'm going to butcher this, so I apologize, the Sachsenhausen-Oranienburg camp. So it's 35 kilometers north of Berlin. It was not originally intended as a death camp in the war, but they built ovens and gas chambers to do so in World War II. And it kind of set the standards for other work camps that the Nazis had put in place before the war. So approximately 30,000 people died at the camp, and it became a prisoner of war camp following the war for German soldiers. And you can go and visit it still today. Obviously, a lot of it has been significantly destroyed, but it kind of set the standard of what work camps were meant to look like during the war for prisoners. And so here's some of the images from the camp. So these are some of the barracks and like bunk beds, but these are not the type of bunk beds we would want to be in. This is one of the gates, and then this is what the old house looked like. But on a brighter note, Berlin is a very stunning, vibrant, and a very clean city. It is ranked what? Can you see this number?
6.
It is ranked 6th on the list of the most livable cities in the world. So it's a very, very good place to live. It's ranked 21st out of all global cities. And it has lots and lots of my favorite things. It has bratwurst, which is an excellent type of like sausage in a bun. It has lots of pretzels. And it has these very specialty. What's this? What's this? Is that a donut?
A donut.
They have very special donuts called Pfannkuchen, and they're these, well, obviously a sweet donut, but they're filled with like a jelly or a jam, and then they have like a cream on top, and they are delicious. And so, and you can get those all over Germany as well. So that is everything for Where in the World today. And thank you for joining us. And we chose this one because we actually studied the Cold War this week in my classes. So that's why I showed Berlin. So it was good to see all of you. Thanks for joining me, Benjamin. Can you say bye?